Hello, everybody. My name is Coulter Scott. This is my EDL 853 Module 1 assignment. It is the introduction to who I am, what I do, and this overall assignment about inclusive school culture. First off, who is Coulter Scott? I am a coach. It is something I love to do. I coach 3 sports at the high school level. I start off the year coaching football, where I do offensive line and special teams coordinator. I move in the winter to freshman girls basketball head coach, and then I get to assist on the varsity side as well, where this year we were lucky enough to make a little state championship run for the Class 6A in Kansas. And then I get to wrap up the year coaching the throwers in track and field. It's definitely a huge passion of mine. Also, passion is family and friends. Towards the middle there to the right is a picture of my entire family. I have 3 sisters, 2 brother-in-laws, and a little 3-year-old nephew. And awesome news, 1 niece that is on the way in October. Just found that out the other day, so it's pretty exciting. I have a lot of fun with the students I work with, one of them being down there in the bottom, an artwork from a student that I go to Young Life Capernaum with, which is a students or adults with disabilities youth group. My education is I have an undergraduate degree of sports administration from Baker University. I have a master's degree from Fort Hays that I graduated with at the peak start of COVID. As you can tell maybe in my graduation picture there, it's actually in my front yard, where I had a master's degree in transition to teaching and special education, and currently doing the endorsement along with you guys of building leadership and administration, where I'd like to continue on to maybe be a principal, but athletic directing is kind of the more of the route I would like to go. My current profession is I work for Auburn-Washburn Unified School District 437, which is located in South Topeka. I'm a special education teacher that is a related service for adapted physical education. I have students from kindergarten to seniors in high school, and also help support the 18 to 21 transition program. Currently, I have 53 students on my caseload that I get to travel in and out of 11 schools for. So every day is a little different, get to move along pretty quickly. Underneath that are yet again the 3 sports that I coach. Moving forward, over about what this assignment was over, the inclusive school culture and the articles that were provided, and a little recap on those. First one was developing an inclusive classroom culture. I labeled this one the inclusive school culture. 4 strategies that were given in this article were the first one was value what each student brings, establish a respectful class climate, plan for everyone to participate and achieve, take a community-based approach. And these are the 4 overall strategies that were given. There was a lot of extra resources given in this where we could kind of pick an article or video to watch. One of the videos I watched was by John Robinson, and I believe it was Onslow College that he was from, that he said teachers that know the range of learners really well, know the strengths, what to focus on, and what to avoid, help develop some of the most successful inclusive classrooms. Give responsibilities, allow all to give input to the classrooms, the norms and the regulations. Everyone has their own personal space. Have high expectation, achievable but high. And make sure everybody's involved within this. And this came from the Ministry of Education. The next one was the creating of inclusive school culture, which yet again, it had some overall ideas for building this stuff. And the overall was that use inclusive language. Make sure that your staff a little bit is open-minded to change. This could be a little hiccup for administrators that some staff have been doing it long enough that change is hard and could be difficult for them and it could be a definite mind shift for some. Make sure you have parents on your side and that support you. They can be your biggest critics. They can also be some of the biggest cheerleaders if you allow them to be a part of it. Other one is adopt character education words like respect, acceptance, and honesty. And I bolded this one because I thought that was very important. Was people want to be accepted. They don't want to just be tolerated. And this could be anything. Make sure the staff knows about the inclusive culture. Could also set up a council that will help foster this as well. 7 ways to create the inclusive classroom environment. I labeled this one more as supportive. Article obviously is an inclusive classroom as well. When providing an environment for students, it is very important to have these in mind. Academic support, you have to have flexible pacing to things, have to have support for students with that need extra learning. This could be English language learners, could be having specialists around, reading specialists, math specialists, or sometimes even my position having support services like speech paths, adaptive PEs, physical therapists, and other things like that. Hearing impaired specialists, things like that can always be part of this academic support. Prepare teachers. You have to hold students to high expectation prior towards closing the achievement gap and to help their students understand the connect to the world at large. This can be a big one, but you have to prepare the teachers for that, not just the kids. The next one would be curriculum. Curriculum should be addressed concepts like privilege, oppression, and global power structures. So incorporating not just what's happened, what's going to happen, kind of talk about what's happening in the now, and teaching it in different ways. Integrate the student bodies. You need to change how things are taught. You need to teach how things are happening maybe in your community and how diverse your community is, but also the world around you. Some students don't get to see outside of your community, so you need to make sure we have that opportunity for them as well. The next would be adjust ranking calculations. This one was not as high on, at least at the moment, for what I had personally, but definitely important. Make sure everybody has the same opportunity to be successful. Create respectful school community. Create a space for discussion. You want to create a space, and you want to be creative with those spaces, and create an environment for all that want to be open and discuss new things, learn things, and everything like that. Next, we defined inclusive school culture. The Anderson article quoted as to raise awareness of what is going on and create an environment where we can talk, creating space that have the ability to dive deep and flesh out feelings that they may have. This would be kind of just an overall, this is what we want. We want students and staff and everybody in the community to feel open and be supportive and give their feelings out to help others learn. Education would be defined by the Ministry of Education. Students being present, participating in achieving, positive collaboration between all cohorts, all of the school community being involved. That is a big part of the education of this. Leadership. This one was a little bit harder to find for me in the 3 articles that we got, but yet again, I kind of took it away from the Ministry of Education. One of the extra readings that we had was leading in areas of personal growth. That can be a leader leading or having input into activities, mentoring programs for young leaders. So these may not be exactly the definition of leadership, but opportunities that can help staff and students become better leaders and become more included and more empowered. What is the school leader's role? If we're creating from scratch this inclusive environment, the administrator needs to know the current tone and what needs to be addressed, needs to listen and be in tune with what the school community is needing, Also needs to educate the staff, students, and community of the change of the climate that is needing to be done and explaining why. Moving over to the right would be maintain/improve if you already have an inclusive environment in place. Keep staff updated on new changes in the school community. Create an advisory team to assist. Also set the tone and expectations. It is important that the administration set that tone, because then that lets everybody else know that is how it needs to be fostered. How can a school leader encourage advocacy? From the Anderson article, job is to raise awareness of what's going on and just create an environment where we can talk. Provide opportunities for other staff and students to have open conversations with each other and build positive relationships. That way, when there needs to be something to be advocated, staff and students feel more comfortable. Staff need to have a clear and high achievable goals for students to reach in education, but could also be more on a personal level with appropriate. Plans and strategies for equitable treatment for all. This is a big thing where I feel like things need to be posted. It needs to be readily available, and it's kind of a reminder all the time. Doesn't have to be really thrown at people, but just kind of a hint here and there. So have words in the buildings and newsletters that help foster the right environment, like the words that we said earlier: respect, acceptance, honesty. Use the inclusive language for all races, genders, and sexual orientation that prevents others from talking about it. Also, prevent people from talking in a derogatory way about these languages. I also feel like from other courses that we've taken so far is that if we need to do this, if there hasn't been something mentioned in a school's vision or mission statement, then a revision of this statement may be looked at to help start fostering what is next. And even if you're not, but especially if you need to recreate this vision statement or mission statement, you need to involve the school community and all its stakeholders. How to change negative assumptions. Administration could personally attempt to help mend the negative assumptions and still lead by example the culture that is wanted. Have the individuals that are being negative assist them being a part of the change, or allow them to have suggestions. Something that can help with this is don't try to hide things. Be open book to the community and have open dialogue of why and when and what we're doing. In conclusion, some of the thoughts that I have had, correlating this, I definitely feel like I have a better understanding of what inclusive school environment is and how it needs to be done in a more of a lack if somebody's already lacking. These articles gave great detail and pretty much really quoted the standard with advocate and support the inclusion school. My personal leadership skills have improved this assignment and will definitely promote long-term success. Next would be relevancy. This summit was relevant to my learning because it gave me a deep look into how to support, advocate, and provide this culture. The environment has been ingrained in my professional and personal life for a while. I am a big supporter of inclusion. Is really where I go every day with adaptive PE, where I am trying to include kids in their classroom and having them be the most successful within their environment. For me, I work a lot with very low incidence kids, wheelchair, and all the gross motor stuff. So for my main experience, it's a lot with special release sped kids, and not as much with the high incidence kids, more behavior and English language learners. I have some, but not as much. Our administration team is a strong one. They're strong supporters of inclusion, and that standard has been set from our district office, and it trickles down. Personal reflection. This assignment really did help me think about how to implement this inclusive culture if I'm somewhere that doesn't have it at that moment. That's what I really took away from a lot of this. It will be really important, but still currently it will help me with my coworkers and students that I work with now to make sure they feel involved. Even the individuals that don't feel like they're involved or don't want to be involved, it can really assist and help them. There will be a few difficulties along the way with some staff and students that struggle with this sort of changes, as we discussed before. Here to wrap things up, the reference page of the 3 articles that were given. I appreciate you guys watching my presentation and look forward to getting to know you guys. Thank you.